Hello, and welcome back to another NFL video. We have now covered the Seahawks, the Cardinals, and the 49ers. And now we are here to cover the most successful team from the NFC West this season, the Los Angeles Rams, the only team to make the playoffs, even though they had the exact same record as the Seattle Seahawks. I'm not here to rant about that. Um, yeah, we're going to recap quickly, under 10 minutes, the Rams season. But before we talk about the Rams this season, I want to first talk about a head coach who does not get mentioned enough as one of the best in the game. Sean McVay has been the head coach of the Rams since 2017, right? So 8 seasons. In those 8 seasons, he has had 7 winning records, 6 playoff appearances, 2 NFC championships, and a Super Bowl win. He is 80 in 52 in the regular season. That would like listen. I don't often see rankings of head coaches overall stuff like that, but my personal opinion, I think Sean McVay is a better coach than Mike Tomlin, for example, Pete Carroll, for example. Even though some bias there, I think most of Pete's success came 10 years ago. Who's some other guys I think typically get mentioned ahead of him? There's actually a lot of coaches who have won a Super Bowl. I think Sean McVay is probably the best one Super Bowl winning head coach. He's better than Kyle Shanahan, who's never won one. Um, I just think Sean McVay, off the top of my head, I think he's better than John Harbaugh and the Ravens. I think outside of Andy Reid, I don't know if I can confidently put any other coach in the league above Sean McVay personally. I just think he's that good of a coach. Now, to talk about the Rams this year specifically, I thought the Rams had a really good offseason. I really did. I liked a lot of the moves they made. I loved their draft. I liked the free agent acquisitions of Tre'Davious White, who turned out to be a nothing burger. Darius Williams, they brought him back. He ended up being a starting good cornerback for them. And I thought that they were poised to improve on their 10-7 record from last year and be a 11-12 win team, possibly win the NFC West. But injuries got a hold of them early. They started the season off with a 1-4 record, which is just, I mean, shocking. I mean, there were talks of panic, concerning the Rams. Should they trade Cooper Kupp or Stafford and stuff like that? It really looked bad early on for them. But they proceeded to get their star players back, and they went 9-2 down the stretch, which is incredible. They then rested their starters for the final game against my Seahawks after already clinching the division. Um, and listen, I'm upset about that, but I understand why. They showed how good they were in that 11-game stretch I mentioned. With their backs against the wall, they went bananas pretty much. Um, this was not the typical explosive Rams offense we were used to seeing. They had to rely heavily on Kyron Williams, who's emerged as one of the league's premier running backs. Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp both fought through injuries, and they still managed to produce good seasons. Guys like Demarcus Robinson, Tutu Atwell, they really helped keep the ship afloat while guys like Kupp and Nacua were gone with injuries. The defensive line is loaded. I mean, brother, they have not only hit in the draft, they have hit out of the park with these defensive line picks. Um, so let's just go left to right, I guess. Byron Young, third round pick, I believe, out of Tennessee, has been amazing. I think he had like 8 sacks last year, 7.5 sacks last. He is a amazing, uh, like steal in the draft. Then they got Kobe Turner last year in the second round, I think maybe third round again, who was the best. I mean, he was better than Jalen Carter last year. People don't talk about that. Kobe Turner was amazing last year as an interior defensive lineman for the Rams. And then this year, they drafted Braden Fiskey out of Florida State in the second round. I believe he led all rookies in sacks as a defensive tackle. So amazing pass rush potential there from him. And then in the first round, they drafted Jared Verse, who, while he didn't have a whole lot of sacks, his potential is through the roof, both as a pass rusher and in the run game. So those 4 guys that you talked about, 2 rookies and 2 sophomores, combined for 28.5 sacks and 43 TFLs this year. amazing. The Rams' defensive line is extremely scary for years to come now for the rest of the NFL. Their back seven was not very good by comparison, but guys like Cam Kitchens, a rookie out of Miami, Kobe Durant is their best cornerback. They both stuck out. And after an impressive regular season where the Rams won the NFC West, they had to go to Arizona for their home playoff game. Obviously, due to the LA Fires, they didn't actually get a home playoff game for winning their division, but they hosted the 14-win Minnesota Vikings, and their defense had a complete masterclass. Sam Darnold was seeing ghosts. They had 5 sacks, or sorry, not 5. They had like 9 sacks in that game against the Vikings, and their offense was moving with relative ease down the field. The Vikings had no answers there. So after a 1-4 start, they go 9-2 down the stretch, win the division, power through all these injuries. They have to play a home playoff game on the road and beat a 14-win team traveling there. Absolutely amazing story for the Rams this season. Now, obviously, that season came to an end in Philadelphia. Um, yeah, the Eagles honestly just seem on another level. To be, totally honest with you, I don't really think you can blame the Rams for losing to the Eagles. The Eagles have arguably the best defense in football, combined with maybe the best run game in football. I mean, Jalen Hurts was running all over him. Saquon had a great game. The Eagles' pass game was not able to get going. Listen, the Eagles actually made enough mistakes in that game where if the Rams were playing better, they probably could have stole that one from the Eagles, but the Eagles' defense was locked down. I mean, it was the Rams had a tough time moving the ball in Philly, and it was snowing, and obviously you could tell which team was more suited for that type of environment. So the Rams, they lost that game, but that should not take away what they accomplished this season, coming back from a terrible start and end up winning a playoff game. Talk about the future a little bit. Matthew Stafford, he has not listened. Obviously, the trade to acquire Stafford, whatever you want to say about it, the Rams unequivocally won the trade because they won a Super Bowl with him. In the 3 years since then, they had a terrible season due to injuries. Like everybody got hurt. That season doesn't really count. They won 10 games last year, made the playoffs, lost in the first round. And then they won 10 games again, made the playoffs, won a playoff game. So if you do a map just based off of the last 3 seasons, it's going like this. It's going up. However, he was contemplating retirement this offseason. He recently made the announcement that he is going to come back and play another year. This does seem like though it would be his last year, right? It would be his 5th year with the Rams, which sounds kind of crazy. It's been 4 years already, but the Rams really do need to start thinking. I'm sure they've already been thinking because I mean it was definitely a possibility that he would retire this offseason. So they've probably already made, some plans, whether it's through the draft or going after some young guy to try and find the eventual replacement. I just think personally, what the Rams should look to do in the draft with their first round pick, I would like to see them draft either a cornerback, maybe a Benjamin Morrison if he's available, or an offensive tackle. I mean, Cam Williams, the guy from Missouri, there's a lot of options for offensive tackle. So I'd like to see tackle or cornerback in the first round for them. And a quarterback in the second round, whether that's Jackson Dart, Jalen Milrow, with some of the other guys. Is Riley Leonard an option? I'm not sure. Is he coming back or is he? I don't know, honestly. Outside of the top four, Jalen Milrow, Dart, Cam Ward, Shadur, I have no idea what their projections look like. But the Rams definitely, because I think it's fair to say Matthew Stafford will not be the quarterback in 2026. I think. Yeah, 2026. He will not be the quarterback. So they got to figure out an answer and fast. So I'm interested to see if they do address that in the draft. But yeah, man, the Rams, great season. And as long as Stafford and McVay is there and they have relative health, I don't see this team winning less than 10 games. So a daunting rival for the Seahawks in the NFC West. That's going to be for this video, man. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We're going to be moving to the NFC South after this. So keep an eye on that. And I hope you all have a great day. Peace.